and most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution Radio Show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all.
What if you could live to be 120 years old and remain active, healthy, alert, and vibrant? Our bodies are made up of cells that are constantly rejuvenating. So if we take proper care of ourselves, we can literally defy aging. Join us every Tuesday from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time to learn about self-care from Tucson Essentials on the Female Solution Blog Talk Radio Show. Learn how to help your body and your cells feel rejuvenated each day through proper nutrition, sleep, frequency medicine, and many unconventional methods of self-care. I'm Jody Susan. Join me and my amazing guests by calling in at 515-605-9325 and press 1 to speak. We'll help you achieve a breakthrough in your health today.
Well, Grand Rising, everybody. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning, and I'm so happy to be here with you today. So today we have Wanda Pearson, and we're talking about never say never because God has a plan. And I believe life is a God job. So Wanda and I completely align, right? On that spiritual level. So what the show's about today is we grow up afraid to do things in our life because of fear. And I'm reading my screen over here because I don't want to miss a thing. So, but with faith, all things are possible. Yeehaw. And we never want to just, oftentimes we find ourselves that we're afraid to try things because of fear. But if we follow God's plan, we can live our best life. And part of that is adjusting our mindset. And a little bit about Wanda Pearson. She has a passion for helping others, helping others. She serves as a catalyst for overall success. She's a consultant, entrepreneur, speaker, thought leader, and legal practitioner. Thought leader on legal protection. She's not a legal practitioner. She's not a lawyer, but she connects you to the best lawyers. I will tell you that through Legal Shield. And she's a small businesswoman, and she really is here to help empower women and violence against women. She created her own company, WD Pearson Associates, after I think it was with I think, and Wanda can correct me if I'm wrong. I think she was with IBM for many, many years. And so she has decades of experience in the corporate world that she now brings to the small businesses to help them flourish and grow. So without further ado, let me get my mouse in the right place. Grand Rising. How are you?
Hi. Good morning.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's early in the morning, but good morning.
Yeah. So I would love to like have this show in the afternoon, but I don't have that choice.
Yeah.
Not my platform.
No,
So
it's good. It's good. It's all good. Just
so so um so it looks like, and we have your information here, and I'm just going to make sure that everybody knows how to get in touch with you
okay.
right off. So we'll get that banner created for you. Tell us a little bit about, you know, how you got started, what catapulted you into women empowerment, like that. Because, I'm here to empower women as well. Actually, I'm here to empower all people
hmm
because I found out quickly that women weren't the only ones being abused. I'm like,
Yes.
oops. And so I would love for you to share how you got started in all this. So,
Well, I actually it's funny because when I was little, um, the social worker just come to our house, right? Because I'm from
mhm.
Chicago, Illinois, and I don't know, God put in my mind, I always wanted to be a social worker, right? I wanted to help women because of the abuse that I actually went through as far as the fear, and disappointment that I felt when I was little, with my stepfather. But God, and I love the title that we have, Never Say Never, because I said I would never do what I'm doing now. I would never be on this, be live, right?
Oh yeah, that is this. I same here, by the way. So I thought I would like this. I'm actually shy,
Yeah. I,
and
I was too, Jody. I was shy too, but then God just brought me out of that to do what I'm doing, and it's amazing because actually when I graduated college, I started at Mercedes Benz, so I didn't start with social work, but then he put me back into what I wanted to do was a social worker. So I started working at Job Corps, which is great because that's when I start counseling young women. And my thing was like, if I can just get to two of these young ladies, to help them, I will be happy. So I got through the two toughest ones, and I'm so proud to say that they turned out to be very good. But I said it wasn't enough money in that field,
Mhm.
so I got into IBM, and I worked for IBM. And I never thought I'd be there for 36 years, but I
It's
did.
a long time.
Yeah, it is. And I was still young when I retired, but God gave me the vision to have our own, which is when we started Legal Shield. Um, and Legal Shield was something that I thought was very me and my husband. In fact, I named WD Pearson as Wanda Dennis Pearson Associates LLC. So Legal Shield was something that I got into the community because I felt that people needed to know our services. That was affordable to get out there and actually
Well, yeah.
help.
So, and here's the thing, so I've used Legal Shield, and it's really important to have. And and I've been a business owner since I was, I mean, I want to say maybe 19 or 20. Like,
Okay,
so I grew up with two entrepreneurs in the family, my mom and dad.
that's
And
awesome.
so what I want to say is, people don't know the importance of having an LLC or having an incorporated or
hmm
or 501c3,
Right,
whatever it is, because they're veils of protection, legal protection.
right.
You don't want anybody piercing that corporate veil, right?
Yep.
And so we are in a time, and this is another reason this comes to me why it's so important to have you on the show today. We're at a time, we've come out of this pandemic, and during the time of the pandemic, a lot of people were recreating themselves,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
they don't know what they don't know. I always talk about the DK zone, right? So like, you know what you know, like, I'm a female, you're a female. We know that's true. We know what we don't know. We're not brain surgeons. We're clear on that. And the rest
Yeah.
of the circle is the opportunity to shift your thinking or to grow. And that's the DK zone, what you don't know that you don't know. And when it
Right.
comes to protecting your company or growing your company, if you don't have those protections in place, we live in a very litigious society. And, so I just want to tee you up, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So people need to understand
Mhm.
the importance of, hey, this is great that you had the last few years to rethink what you want to do. Now do it
Mhm.
properly.
Absolutely. And I'm glad you brought, yeah, you did tee me up because actually,
Well, I
because
have 5 years teaching young entrepreneurs. I don't know if you knew that.
yeah, no, that's awesome. And what I did during the pandemic, I
Mhm,
didn't let that stop me, Jody. That's when
mhm,
I actually created the WD Pierce Associates, and I helped a lot of people. And I always say, "What is your passion? What is your passion?" I worked for corporate 36 years, and I know that wasn't my own. So you need to get your own, right? So that's when I actually helped a lot of people get their LLCs, people who had home based business who actually created that, and I added another service, and probably get into that later, but what I called my 5M method, which is to help entrepreneurs get set up successfully, financially, legally, and
mhm.
authentically to sidestep failure when you apply. I have a 5M method. So I
So tell me
created that
about the method.
service,
Tell me about what's called the 5 what method?
5M method.
5M as in Mary?
M as in Mary, yep, and I have a link. That's my lead magnet that I have that I wanted to make sure that people didn't feel confused about, like you said, getting the LLCs and talking to our attorneys, but me stepping you through that to help you feel more like a business superstar and become empowered, confident, secure, and happy. So a
Mhm.
lot of times I'm gonna tell you my mistake was I did my own LLC and I didn't realize that Legal Shield does that. We call it Launched by Legal Shield. So when I realized it, that's when I said I wanted to show entrepreneurs don't make the same mistake that I did because I didn't know whether do I check this box, do I check that box. But with our 5M method, it actually helps you to get set up the right way, and that's really what it's about: helping entrepreneurs get set up the right way. So I help them do coaching, ask them, like I said, I start with your passion. What are your goals? What do you want to do? How do you want to proceed with your business? Because a lot of people may get into baking, but are you a baker? Can you bake? A
Mhm.
lot of people might be like what you're doing, but they don't know how to speak. So it's really, really getting them empowered and setting up their goals, their SMART goals, and how I can help them get set up and then get set up legally, like you said, with the right entity that
Well,
you
yeah.
need.
Can I wanna, say something because you said that you know how to speak, right?
Mhm.
I have to tell you a story. So my dad, both my mom and dad were entrepreneurs. My mom helped, raise the family mostly before she became an entrepreneur, but she was one of those brilliant people that skipped 3 grades. And then,
Mhm.
of course, my dad got kicked out of high school as a sophomore multimillionaire by the time he was 21. Came
Wow,
from nothing, right?
awesome.
And so um, there were two things. Because it really, God has a plan, right? So,
Yes,
so
yes.
first of all, we had nannies growing up and they
Okay.
were all over the world. And I was learning how to speak. I was an infant. So when I started speaking, nobody understood me because I had dialects from a variety of dialects from Europe. The
Mhm.
UK, Munich, Hamburg, you name it, Mexico,
Mhm.
also not Europe, but Mexico,
Okay.
and in Russia, actually, I think Russia.
Okay.
So when I started speaking, first of all, I couldn't use the word "r," and I had to go through speech therapy. So, 1, I learned diction at a young age.
Mhm.
Number 2, my dad was a high D, and anybody who studied the DISC profile, DISC, the
Yeah.
high D is that CEO, they're short, they're impatient.
Mhm.
Kinda me too. And, I'm a high I and a high D, so depends on what hat I
Really?
had to wear at the time. So my dad, and it was very funny when the house was on fire. Whenever I would call him, like at the office, or anywhere, he'd say, "What's up, Jode? Talk fast."
Mhm.
So I had to learn diction, so clarity and to be concise
Mhm.
quickly. So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, Dad, house is on fire. And it was. My mom was cooking a brisket, and the house went on fire. So, but that's how I became. Oh, what's that? Is that your? Do you have or is that mine? Are you getting a text message? It sounds like that might be a buzz from a phone.
Mm. Yeah, I
Yeah,
turned my phone off here.
yeah. Thank you. I
Okay.
make sure mine's off too. Yeah, there we go. Because I've done that too.
Yeah, let me.
So, uh, and Zelda says, Jody, you're not shy. That's the old you, new you, unstoppable. And whose picture? That doesn't even look like Zelda on there. Zelda, I don't know whose picture that is on your profile, but it doesn't look like you. Hold on. Does not look like my Zelda. So Zelda's our Monday morning stressologist
Okay.
podcast host. So anyway,
Okay.
so go ahead and continue your story. Sorry.
No, no problem. No, that's not. We get into, and that's what conversation is about, right?
Yeah, I mean, and this is like, we're a little different in format here. Like, we're here to create family conversation, dialogue. People are going to call in to the
Mhm.
show.
Okay.
And if you want to call in, it's 515-605-9325. And just press 1 if you can just call in and listen, or you can press 1 to speak, and ask your questions. And we're live streaming right now, and we are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, and on LinkedIn, I just want to mention this. On LinkedIn, we actually cannot see your comments. They don't come through. But if you really want to participate, please just call us and ask Wanda or myself your questions. And just dial in to 515-605-9325, because we're going to be talking about, really, it's about being your best self, right? When you say never say never, it's being your best self. And I was listening to some of the other podcasts that you've done. And, I mean, how is it? Let me just ask this. So, when you say never,
Mhm.
how is it that you get, or how you coach people to get from point A to point B, right? Because
Mhm.
it's not from the couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yes. That's tough because I tell you, it's funny when I was actually writing my second book, collaboration. Um, I got God, He always has a plan for us, right? He
mhm.
always puts us into something that makes us uncomfortable to get into, like what I'm doing. Well, like I said, I would never speak. I would never do Facebook Live. I would never write a book. I would never get married. Everything that I said I would
All
never
those
do.
things, by the way, same here, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and God said, "Oh, yes, you are." And then He puts me into other things. So now I'm writing my third book. But it's amazing how me growing up, as my self-esteem confidence was low. I know I did not want other people to do that, and that's what made me get into social work. And even when I was in corporate with IBM, people would still come to me and talk to me and say, Wanda, and let me know what they thought. And I tell you, God spoke to me with the certain ways. And when He puts things in my mind, I share my inspirations every day with my family and friends. I send that to them. You never know who needs to hear a good word, right? You never know that may penetrate to them to really understand there, and they actually come to me with, one, I need your prayers on this. So when I came to Never Say Never, I try to help people strive to have that confidence and self-esteem to get past that fear, and we talk about fear, right? To
Mhm.
get past that fear, because fear, like I said, fear is a liar, right? We
Fear
never
is
know.
very low vibration.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and I always say you don't want that to steal your happiness and joy. So, I wanted to make sure as I was growing up, and where I am today, Jody, I never thought I would be where I am today. you know, as far as what I've done. And even after retirement and then getting, my own business here, I'm back into mentoring. Like today, I have my mentoring group with middle school girls. I do mentoring for two middle schools here in Georgia. And
Oh, you need to bring me with.
what's that?
You need to bring me with.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
and I am not. I mean, I know we're live, and you have to say yes online, but no, seriously. So I taught, 12-year-olds for
Okay,
5 years. It was an incubator program. It's a Young Entrepreneurs Academy,
okay.
and they we taught them how to create their own product or program, their own business,
Okay.
um, do the full business plan, present it to a group of investors. The winner then would go to New York and present with other students from
That's
around the
awesome.
country. Um, there was this little girl. She was really, really shy, little whip of a girl, and she
Mhm,
didn't have a voice. And her body language, shoulders forward, head down, very
mhm.
shy. And she took second place by the time I was done with her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. I actually was at a meeting yesterday. I belong to Marriott Business Association, and I met a group that does something like this as far as this. It's great. It's actually the educate, empower, and release. And I need to collaborate, and collaboration is my key to how actually success. I always talk about collaboration. So I want to get with them, and they do the same thing. It's actually something like what you're doing to get scholarships to help them thrive to adulthood. So as you're saying it, yeah, I need to do that because actually, like I said, it's funny how God brought me round back the same circle that I started with social work, and after getting out of corporate and have my own business. So every morning I ask myself, okay, God, what do you want me to do today? You know, and He guides me to what I'm doing. I mean, I can be very busy all this week. I'm busy. I'm busy, so I have to take a break. But having that spirit that I have, and I guess my passion, people see that, of what I do. And they come to me and they ask me, Wanda, what do you think of this? And I love it because I love helping people. So it's really about helping people. And with our middle school girls, I'm the affirmation queen. I send out my affirmation. I'm sure you see on my Facebook and my Instagram. I do my affirmations. So whenever they leave out the door, before they leave out, give me an affirmation. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am. And
Yeah, it's interesting. So I do both. I do affirmations, and I'm kind of in your face, not kind of, I am in your
Mhm,
face
mhm,
about what's interfering with your best life, meaning your food, your water supply, those things. And I know
mhm,
you know that. And but when I'm doing but I also, I couple it with you know, the way with concepts and thought forms that
mhm,
allow people to understand that they're unstoppable.
mhm,
When we do classes, I do healing classes here. And part of the healing is not just, oh, they're ringing at me. Okay. Could you not ring? Sorry.
mhm.
They come at them at interesting times. Part of the classes that we teach, or it's part of it's healing, right? And
Mhm,
it's all healing. But it's not just physical and healing, it's mostly emotional
mhm,
because our emotions are completely tied to our
mhm.
physical pain or physical wellness.
Yeah.
And people don't understand that. So having affirmations and going through mindset training so
Mhm,
people think positive,
Yeah.
how do you help people think positive?
Well, it's a reverse, and that's it depends, like you said, the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
How far down are they as far as that negativity, right?
Mm-hmm.
And just reversing it is this the hard it ain't easy. It ain't easy, because then they can bring you down that same rabbit hole, as far as the negativity.
Right.
And I try to reverse it for myself, first of all, not to feed into that, but give them something positive to think about, such as um, you woke up this morning, you can see, you can walk. I mean, look how many people, it's people worse off than you are. You may think it's
Gratitude is
really bad.
right?
Yeah, yeah. So I have people that, oh, well, I can't do this. Don't. And my father always told me, my father was a high level salesperson. He said,
Mhm.
don't, can comes in cans. So you don't say you cannot do this, but reverse it, say, I can do this. Um, and helping people to reflect on what is good in your life, because that's what the devil wants to do. He wants to, that's that negativity, right?
Mhm.
Wants to bring you
I
down.
always say, if you're not playing with God, you're playing for the other side.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this, and I always say that fear that people have, which is the negativity that it brings on, it's a mechanism blocking us to do what God plans for us to do. So you have to get out of that negative thinking and reverse it to that positive thinking and think about something positive in your life and say, here's people out there in the streets that's homeless, but you have a home, right? You
Mhm.
have something to drink. Some people, especially with the economy now, it's very hard. So I try to reverse that and tell them that let's think about something that actually could be worse, you know. So
Mhm.
that's how you kind of reverse reverse the negative to the positive.
Well,
And
so one of the things that we do in our house is, and there's many ways to do this. We have a gratitude jar.
yes, yes, gratitude,
And
very
so we
important.
take a little paper and we write what, maybe 3, 4 things that we're grateful for.
That's
Now,
good.
I did that for years. You can also use a gratitude journal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And then what I started doing, because, I kind of ran out of room on my journals and all that, I just started sending gratitude to people in social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like, put it in the universe,
Yes,
plaster it,
yes,
right?
yes.
And I know that you can manifest anything with
Mm-hmm.
gratitude because it's such a high
Absolutely.
vibration.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely. And I agree with that because that's why I do my put it in the universe. I do my I am affirmations where I put it
Mhm.
out there. I'm working to better myself, you know. I know something that I tell you, I love Joyce Meyer. She's say something good is going to happen to me today. You keep saying that, and then something good is going to happen to you today because God already knows what He has planned for you, right? He knows that uh, you have to go through those struggles to make you stronger, and that's really what I've been dealing with as far as that. So it's yeah, it's sometimes it's hard. It's hard, but at the same time, you know that you've done a good thing by helping those people who have that negative perspective. And then sometimes people are just negative all the time, right? So you kind
Yeah.
of,
And
you
Trey
know,
Jackson is here. He says, I love hearing about positive morning routines and practices, right?
yes, 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 absolutely. And that's what's good about it. And I'm gonna tell you what I do. I actually put on my mirror. I have this book. It's actually little sheets that I get and I pull off and I put it on my mirror. Um,
Mm.
and it's great. It's actually by Marshawn Evans Daniels. It's 100 Days of Prayer, and
Oh,
they're actually
lovely.
yeah, and they actually have this little sheet to give you those affirmations. So when I send somebody and I got a couple of them, but it's so real because it may be something that you need to hear what God is trying to tell you.
Mhm.
And this is what's good. And then they give you the little Bible verses, but it's really good. So yeah, I appreciate that. You have the morning routines and practices. Trey Jackson. Yes, definitely. And I'll be talking to you soon, said Trey Jackson.
Yes, so Trey is teaching me all about YouTube, and he has made a significant difference for me on how I present my business. He's teaching me the back end of YouTube. And I had a mindset about how I was supposed to present my show from a graphic standpoint. And he's like, yeah, no. And I don't need yes people in my life. I need people who are going to tell me truth and get me from point A to point B. Trey Jackson.
Absolutely. Yeah, the truth is actually better than just, I used to tell my daughters, you want me to tell you the truth or you want me to lie to you? Which one you want? I'm going to tell you the truth. So
right. So and then another way to put that is, and we have to go to commercial in a minute, is being nice or being kind.
Absolutely.
Right? So nice, you just tell people what they want to hear so they can go on their happy way, which is unconscious, right? Or being kind is telling them what they need to hear, which is a conscious way of being.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that. And it really does make a difference when you get that part, because then they trust. It's about trust, right? So yeah, so you can say something and that person what they want to hear, but what they what they need to hear. Let's put it, if you want to hear, you need to hear it. So it makes a big difference as far as saying the things that that will help them.
Yeah. He's tactful. He's got a great emotional intelligence, I'll say. So
yeah, that's awesome.
So we have more comments, but I'm going to quickly go to commercial, and then we're going to either answer questions or address what people are saying here. But I will show this. He says, thank you. Love you, Trey Jackson. And I love your girlfriend too. All right. So let me just quick do this. Here we go.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self-Cell Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Jody Susan of Susan Essentials was misdiagnosed and nearly died in 2013. Instead, she chose to reclaim her health using plant and energy-based healing. After losing 92 pounds, she now offers the psychologist and doctor-recommended functional food program, focusing on two things: toxic-free living and a connection to our brain health. Susan Essentials re-engineered what health looks like with a self-paced functional food program, now available to you with plans starting at just $99.
Jody Susan of Susan Essentials is certified by the #1 functional medicine doctor on plant-based healing essential oils, which are revolutionizing the way we manage our well-being. Schedule today to take control of your health. All right, so we are back. And I actually want to do one other live commercial. I'm just going to show it real quick because this is really important for world peace. So I'm going to show you. I was, God just shined his light on me, right? And I was on Facebook and I met this guy. His name is Dr. Steven Spencer.
Mhm.
And he was talking about consciousness and this, he was talking about the subconscious mind. And I'm like, I need to talk to you because you think the way that I think. I'm like, I don't know who you are, but I like you. Let's chat, right?
Mhm.
So we spoke. We got along really well. We have been working together for the last year. He's been on the podcast probably once a month. We're now down for this year. It'll be like once a quarter, because he's very busy. So I'm just grateful. But he presented this concept, which I'm going to see if I can make it a little larger, which is quantum global healing, and it's world peace by creating inner peace. And we wanted to make it affordable, so it's $33 a month. You can cancel it anytime, but it's $33 a month, and once a month we'll have a 30-minute to 1 hour, because it's going to be led by the divine, so we don't know exactly how long it's going to be, right? But it'll be at least 30 minutes where we handle like resetting the mindset. And he says, this is our description. So for centuries, Buddhist monks have set intentions and impacted the world around us. And he did study with the Buddhist monks, just so you know who this guy is. He's like the reincarnation of Archangel Michael, right? He says in numbers, we are more powerful, and we can create abundance, peace, freedom, and safety. If you choose to feel the love in the world, it will love you back. It starts with us. Your thoughts not only impact your own reality, they affect stars and planets and other dimensions and galaxies. So please join us in creating a world of peace and love in the journey inward. And be the powerful soul and unleash the power within your mind and heart, as Dr. Spencer, and it should say, and Reverend Jody Susan, I left myself out, guides into the world of unlimited potentials through the quantum field. So it's $33. There's a catch. 22% of that investment is going to the Alliance for Natural Health, who's fighting for our rights for natural health. So what a lot of people don't know is like the FDA is trying to stop us from having supplements, especially N-acetylcysteine, which, is so important. And then the Organic Consumers Association. So, and again, you can cancel at any time, but so 11% goes to each organization. And so we're really trying to help people shift their mindset. And the very first one, which we are changing the date, the date was going to be the first Monday of the month. It's now going to be the first Tuesday of the month at 8:00 Eastern time. And the first one is going to be stepping into your own power. And so what Stephen has the capability of doing, and what I also have the capability of doing, and together he and I do it very well, is shifting the subconscious mind. We do it a little differently. He goes in and he's able to, clear viruses from, thought viruses from the body. I go into past lives and I clear thought forms from past lives. I access the Akashic records. And so, but this is, if you want to heal, man, $33 a month. I don't know any other way to do that better. So
Awesome.
Yeah. So that, there is going to be a little change to this. Again, it's going to be the first Tuesday of the month. So instead of February 6th, it's going to be February 7th. So I'm going to take off our commercial, but I have to figure out how to get back over here. I've got 3 screens going on. Here we go. All right. So, and then, so like that. So back to our comments. Chris. She says, we're called out for saying, I'll try I'll try growing up. She goes, either you will or you won't do something. I'll try is a cop out, no ownership. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, try is well. Don't say I try. Say I will be doing something, right? And I love that. Is it Chris? Yeah, no ownership. You got to take ownership of what you're doing, right? Of what you planned on doing. Um, because that's just an excuse. It's just an excuse to say they can't do it, right? So it's about taking that ownership and making sure that you are doing it, not trying to do it, but just having um, that willpower, and it's all about the mindset, right? Because sometimes we feel comfortable in saying, "I won't do something." Either you want or want to, and then I love it. It's a cop out. It's just a cop out to make you feel better about yourself. But is it really good for you trying to do that? Does that
Well,
make
and then if we say, I'll try, right?
sense? Mm-hmm.
The mindset is that I don't really have to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you're actually
Absolutely.
setting yourself up to fail.
Yeah.
I'm a human behaviorist in addition to being a medical intuitive. So
Mm-hmm.
so we're setting ourselves up to fail if we say, I'll try.
Mm-hmm.
We're giving ourselves a door out
Yeah.
of success. So I say step into success,
Step
right?
into, I love it. Yep. Step into success and not try to do it. Say, I will do it.
Yeah, make
Right.
it happen.
Yep. 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 And that's why I said, I make it happen. I don't just say I try to do, I just go and do it. You fail, but it picks you back up to make you successful in what you're doing. And you learn from your mistakes. So, you know, that
Yeah,
makes it.
and if you fail forward. It's a lesson, not a mistake.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because God
Absolutely.
gives us lessons so we can get to where we are right now on the show.
Absolutely, because we fail, if you just do something for the first time and you fail, don't give up. Try, they said, try again, right? That was like a metaphor they used to say. Try, if you fail, get up and try again. So yeah, you just want to make sure that you can actually have that confidence. It's really about confidence about doing it and making sure that you know that you can do it, not I can't do it. So, but yeah, I like that. Yep, Andrew. Yep, there is no try.
Yeah, and then he says also, sorry, I should have let us read that. He says, that's my husband. That is right, Chris. Do or do not. There is no try.
Mm-hmm, hmm
And he also says when things get hard, we need to lean on others to get help from those who can give us wise advice. Please talk about some of the people who helped you on your journey. Nice question,
Yeah,
Andrew.
yeah.
So please tell us. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, my father was always that entrepreneur.
Mhm.
As he's growing up in the high regional manager with Miles Laboratory at Gillette. But I'm gonna tell you what I did say. I would never do sales. My husband Dennis was in sales. I would never do sales. Look what I'm doing now. But my father was actually, and I didn't realize that I start turning out more like him. So he's actually was my hero, and he was the one that said, Wanda, when I started with corporate, at least stay there for a year. Well, he didn't know I was going to stay there for 36 years, at IBM. Um, so my father was actually what got me on my journey, as well as when my father died, Dennis that says, Wanda, and I retired then. You can't, because I went into a depression. You go into I was like daddy's little girl. Um, and Dennis just said, get out there and we got a business, which was Legal Shield. And I did get out there and start selling that I didn't know I was going to sell, but I guess because of my personality, but him helping me. But when I started getting into these networking groups, like BNI, teach me how to network. And the other networking groups that I became part of, that some of the ladies that had told me, Wanda, you need to write a book. Wanda, you need to do Facebook Live. And that was my friend Etta Lane, who actually in Re-Rock, I became part of her group. that everything that I'm doing, she told me, she said, anytime I tell you wanted to do something, you've been doing it. So that means getting on Facebook Live when COVID happened. I was doing webinars. I was actually doing international webinars with other people, collaboration partners that I wanted to help other people, entrepreneurs, educate. And that's really my whole thing. That's why I say educate and empower. Um, so doing that, and then I got a call from another young lady, C. Nicole, who told me, Wanda, God told me to call you. And I said, okay, what did he say? And that's when she wanted me to be part of her book, which is Audacity to Shine, which I love the title, Jody, Audacity to Shine. And that's what got me on that motivation. Said, I do have the audacity to shine, because the struggles that we go through, a lot of times we don't think that we can do it. So some of my lady friends that I have, and also my girlfriend Sharon and Evie, and create your own business, and Elaine, WD Pearson Associates. So those are the ones on my journey that actually helped me get to where I am today, to push me. I say push me to say you can do this. So I did it, and I had no idea that the guy was going to get me into a second book, because I got another second call from Aubrey Robinson, who said, why not want you to be in my book? Oh, no, no more collaboration books. I'm not doing it anymore.
Yeah, I did one collaboration book, and it's an Amazon bestseller. But the other books that I'm writing, one is Words Are Just Vibrations in the Air,
Yeah.
everything's energy. And then the second one, I don't like the title, but I'll kind of give you an idea what it's about.
Mhm.
It's 11 Months to Die.
Oh, wow.
And,
Okay.
and what it is my brother, who was a chiropractor, was using his cell phone. This is back in 1997 when I was misdiagnosed, right? And blew
Yeah.
up 100 pounds.
Wow.
And at the same time, he had a seizure on the beach in Florida.
Oh, wow.
And they had to, airlift him to a hospital.
Wow.
And they performed brain surgery days later, and they gave him 1 year to live.
Wow.
And he was a chiropractor and understood nutrition, because at that time they
Mhm.
taught chiropractors about nutrition. They
Mhm.
actually took that out of the program at some universities. So
Mhm.
so I've been told.
Mhm.
So no one quote me on it.
Mhm.
Now he lived for 23 years, and he was the longest living survivor of, brain cancer.
Wow.
Northwestern University, or Northwestern Hospital in Illinois.
Yeah.
And here is why. He understood food as medicine. He had a very high antioxidant diet.
Mhm.
Antioxidants are your, dark blue, your chocolates, things like that. Blueberries, blackberries. There's a lot of things that come from the desert in Arizona. There's a product called Trevita that he would take,
Mhm.
and which is overlooked by many, organic organ meats, because they're so
Mhm.
dense in minerals.
Wow.
And you need those minerals for your brain health. And so he lived for 23 years. Now,
Wow.
why is the book 11, and I know I'm fairly positive this is not the right title, but God will give it to me when we're ready.
Mhm.
But why is it at this point in time 11 months to die? Well, because a year before he died, he was in assisted living. My husband, my now husband, Andrew, and I were taking him to a holistic doctor, and he got out of a wheelchair in 1 day.
Wow.
Went from wheelchair to walking, no
Awesome.
problem, in a day. Okay.
Awesome.
And sorry, I need a minute.
Mhm.
So he wasn't given his anti-seizure medication.
Mhm.
that this one morning, right, in October of 2019.
Mhm.
And they rushed him to, I think it was Reese Hospital. And as they're checking him out, they realize, because he's having another seizure, they forgot
Mhm.
to give him his anti-seizure medication
Wow.
again, so twice in 12 hours.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
And so it landed him in the hospital for 11 months, at which point his diet was no longer in his own control.
Mhm.
And so they were giving him box food.
Mhm.
He no longer had access to his organic organ meats, his Trevita, or anything else that he was doing to support his well-being. And so he died.
Oh.
11 months in the hospital. And there was also during COVID, we weren't even allowed to go see him.
Yeah.
He died
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that COVID put a lot, especially a lot of our families that were in a nursing home.
Mhm.
Um, and my father actually died before COVID. Thank God I was able to.
Thank God, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as I retired in 2018, I was able to go visit him, and I looked at him, but he died of dementia. Now imagine that he was a high level sales guy that he retired and didn't use wasn't doing using his mind, you know.
Yeah,
And
and
that's what really, yeah, dementia is something. And I got to see it, and it was so hard to see him. It's just like with my mother who died the day after I moved here from
oh,
New Jersey. So this is my natural parents that actually that I had. So it was rough to see him like that, and that's when I said, you know what, I retired, I can't. And that's when Dennis said, you got to get up and go. When I went into that depression, um, I said I can't sit and not do anything because then your mind starts settling, and that's how that dementia start getting in because you're not thinking, you know. So that is really what really kind of pushed me in that. And Andrew, that was a good question as far as what you asked me. That's what pushed me into doing what I'm doing now, you know.
seeing
Um,
what happened to your dad, right?
yep, yep, yep. So yeah, so it really helped me to move forward instead of backwards, to get into we can always get into that depressed state, but
Mhm.
I knew now now, Dennis, I mean my whole schedule is just like I'm constantly going. They call me the networking queen, so that's really, and I meet a lot of people, and some people I don't remember, but they remember me. So it's that lasting impression that you leave on people, and I think that's probably my passion that they see that that I didn't know. I mean, I had a young lady say, Wanda, when I'm around you, I guess it makes me get out of depression that I'm out of, that I have. And I say, really? You don't know how you affect people,
Mhm.
just by being yourself. I'm just really being myself. So yeah,
Well,
that
you're being led by your higher self. You're being led. Oh,
hmm
my
hmm
technology was ready to fall to the floor. You're being led really by spirit, right? When
absolutely.
we're being led by spirit, we glow and we vibrate at a much higher level
hmm
that naturally attracts other people.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah, exactly. Naturally attract other people. And like I said, you just never know who you're gonna attract, who you're gonna help. Um, I mean, just like one of my friends who was diagnosed with cancer. And as I'm getting ready this morning, maybe at 6:30 in the morning, I just text her, "How you doing?" And she's
mhm,
young, "How you doing today?" God just put you when they put you on because I'd be so busy, and I say, "Okay, let me stop this right now. Let me send a text. Let me reach out to them to let them know I'm thinking about them." So
exactly.
and just helping them on the way to let them know that you're not alone. You have somebody else there to help you along the way. And that's when we talk about negativity. Here you got people that didn't expect things to happen to them, and it happened to them. But then you worry about something else as far as negative. Think about people who are going through worse than you. You know,
Well, I want to talk about that for a moment, and I'm going to show you something. It was part of my email that went out last night. Um, so, so I agree with you that not thinking will cause your brain to go to mush,
Mm-hmm.
right? No doubt, because if you don't use it, you lose it.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
what people
Yep.
don't understand, and I'll see if I can make this a little larger. Let me just see if I can do that. Is that a little easier to read there?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is that the chemicals that are in our water supply, okay, like fluoride, let's just fluoride, which they've been adding, makes your body absorb extra aluminum. Now, aluminum is one of the key things for Alzheimer and dementia. It's one of the causes.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be cooking like with aluminum foil,
Okay.
right?
That's good to know.
And your deodorant, you don't want to be putting deodorant on that has aluminum in it, and most of it does, unless you're buying plant-based.
Mm-hmm.
So they said, so fluoride makes your body absorb extra aluminum. And where does the aluminum go? It goes to your brain. And what metal shows up alarmingly in the brains of Alzheimer's victims? You guessed it, aluminum.
Wow.
Yeah. And so
Very interesting. Very interesting.
and actually these are the types of things that I'm sharing in my functional food program.
Mm-hmm.
So cognitive decline isn't hereditary, it's environmental. You can have the gene for Alzheimer's,
Mm-hmm.
cancer, arthritis, diabetes. You can have those genes. They never have to be expressed if you're not consuming the toxins that are in the water and food supply. It's just that simple.
Wow.
And my program is so simple.
Mm-hmm.
It's just get rid of toxins, but I show you where they are, and I show you how to source your food properly.
Mm-hmm.
And I also show you which foods are your happy foods, like cashews are nature's antidepressant.
Mm.
And
cashew peanuts? The cashew peanuts?
the cashew nut, yes.
Wow.
And the Brazil nut will lower your cholesterol by 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't really have more than 4 Brazil nuts in a sitting because it's so high in selenium that you could actually have toxic overload if you had too many Brazil nuts. It's actually a medicine.
Wow. I remember you telling me that, Joey, and I actually went out and went to Sprouts and got the Brazilian nuts. Because I have, and it's in my genes, the high cholesterol. So that is so true. I have to get some more of those. But it's interesting that you should say that as far as how much you should have. So thank you for that tip. But yeah, I went right out and got me some Brazilian nuts.
Yeah, you're welcome. So there's a video I did, and I just redid it because we had interferences on it, so I had to retape it. But I'll share the video so that people understand. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, Susan Essentials, which most of you are on right now, and then and just look up Susan Essentials Brazil nuts, and I explain in detail about the importance of Brazil nuts and how much to take, and and I'm not saying you can't have more than 4 a month, but you really, I mean, it's a medicine.
So you say a month? Is it a month or a day?
Well, you only need 4 a month.
Oh, okay. And has selenium in it?
Yeah, the active ingredient is selenium.
Okay. Okay.
So, and it's the selenium that drives down the cholesterol levels.
Wow.
And the bad cholesterols.
Yeah.
And cholesterol, you need cholesterol. So that's why those statin drugs are so bad for you, because you actually need those good cholesterols to have a healthy brain.
Wow. Wow.
And people are not connecting the dots.
Mm-hmm.
And that statin will also destroy your muscles.
Mm.
And so there's a story. It's one of the very first people I ever coached. I'm like smack dab back into work because I was on disability for almost 4 years. I called the government. Hey, I want to get off of disability. They're like, say what? You know,
Mhm.
you want you don't want us to pay you anymore? I'm like, no, I want to go back to work.
Mhm.
And so I shared a house with this man, and we'll just call him Sam I Am or something. And I was coaching him, just as a gift.
Mhm.
And he didn't tell me that he was on statins. And so we're getting him healthy and everything. He had already torn 2 rotator cuffs, had open heart surgery. And so we're getting him healthy. And then he's walking down the stairs just before Thanksgiving or just after Thanksgiving.
Mhm.
And both knees, and we're not running down the stairs, gently walking down the stairs, both knees dislocate at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Now, what is the possibility of that
Wow.
without
Yeah.
synthetic interference? And so, that's when I'm like, there's something you're not telling me,
Mhm.
right? Because this just doesn't happen.
Mhm.
And so he, I found out he was on statins.
Mm.
And so statins tear your muscles, causes depression and diabetes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Wow.
Mm-hmm. And there are studies to show this, PubMed studies.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to reframe that. I'm going to say possibly does it,
Mhm.
but it's a very high probability,
It's
because it depends on how long you're on the statin.
Yeah, that because I actually it's in my genes, and I've been on statin cholesterol medicine.
Okay.
But I try to use I like more natural
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So I use essential oils, which is lemongrass that I actually put in and the doctor said, "Well, Wanda, it went down." And she said, "So what are you using?" I said, I had to think about what I was using. So I used the lemongrass and also the magnesium oil that I
Yes.
put on. When I take a shower, that's the first thing I put on is on my feet and my legs. And that has actually helped my cholesterol go down.
Well, and the magnesium oil is also really good for your digestive, and it's also really good for your brain health. So our brain needs a lot of minerals, and most of our body is mineral deficient. And the
Mhm.
lemongrass is amazing. So while you're taking that lemongrass to lower your cholesterols, it's
Mhm.
also can decalcify your pineal gland.
Mhm.
Right? So
Okay.
which our pineal gland in our brain is what connects us to our spiritual connection.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and if you've ever had, water that has fluoride in it,
Mhm.
or food that has fluoride in it,
Mhm.
your pineal gland is most likely calcified.
Wow. Wow. So I put lemon in my water, you know,
Lemon or lemon essential oil.
lemon essential oils.
So that's awesome. I do too. And what that does is sorry, I'm a walking almanac.
Mhm.
That takes out the microplastics and petrochemicals from your intestinal tract. And it
Mhm.
also acts as like if you put in 3 drops and drink it, it's similar to having a cup of coffee, but
Mhm.
without the crash and without any negative effects of caffeine. So it's
Mhm.
actually healing the body
Mhm.
versus destroying the body, and it's like a natural energy boost, and it's cheaper, right?
Mhm.
3 drops of lemon essential oil is what, like 30 cents?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah, I put it in my tea too. So I try to put, use I like I'm more of a natural. I like the natural stuff. So I know I'm on a medication because the doctor said, "Well, Wanda, you gotta, trying to control my diet," but she says it's in your genes. But that's interesting that you talk about that with the statin
well,
because I've been it for years. Yeah.
yeah, so genes can do so I studied science-based nutrition.
Hmm.
You can have any gene and never have it expressed if you're eating the right thing.
Mhm.
period. Synthetics are just a Band-Aid. Pills are a Band-Aid and will destroy the body eventually.
Yeah, that's true. Cause you see the commercials. Oh, you could die from this medication. So, and they put that in little small prints, and you can die. I was like, oh my God. I mean, so you do one medication to help that one, and then the other medication to help that what you just actually that's destroying your body. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so that's how they got me on 19 medications,
Wow.
and
Wow.
that's why I almost died. And I was used
Wow.
as a guinea pig. They did all these,
Hmm.
put me on these clinical trials and never took me off.
Wow. And you talk about that, and that is a shame. But the same thing happened to my mom, who went into the nursing home, but she had rheumatoid arthritis, and they had her on so many medications. So I said, what are you doing?"
Do you see
Yeah.
my hands?
Uh-huh.
So I have arthritis. My mom had arthritis. Her hands were crippled. Okay.
Hmm.
My hands have no expression of arthritis. You know
That's
why? My diet.
Yeah, yeah. It really makes it. Hers was in her legs, so she couldn't walk anymore, and that's when she gave up. So when that happened, I said, "Oh God, I hope I don't have this gene," you know. And they check me with blood work every time I go for blood work just to make sure. But that's awesome that you have that, because I looked at some people who have the arthritis, like you said, with your hands, that their hands are crippled, that they can't do anything. So, you know, but yeah, it makes a difference. Um, well, good morning, everybody. People coming in.
Yeah, everyone's chiming in. So good morning, Soraya. So Sarai she has such a cool business. She's a photographer, but she also does these clothing line, and she repurposes clothing and makes it just like very artistic.
That's
So if anybody
awesome.
wants to reach out to her, she's amazing. We have I don't know how to pronounce that. Yes,
Or Isaiah, or well, I don't want to mess it up.
I don't want to mess it up, and we're grateful that you
Good
are
morning.
here. Good morning. We have Zelda. So she says this is an old photo when I was coloring my hair. Okay, because I'm like, it doesn't look like you.
Good morning, Zelda. And I think we had Pamela that chimed in too. Good morning.
Yeah, Pamela
And good
Gadsden
morning.
is such a bright light. Oh my God. Um, yeah, everyone should know Pamela.
Yes. Good
So
morning. Good
I
morning, everyone. I know
commercial.
we got into the health thing, but it's great because actually that's our life, right?
Yeah, well, if you don't have your health, you don't have your wealth. So
Absolutely.
I'm going to quick go to commercial, and then let's go back. I want to hear about the book that you're writing, or the book that you have written, whichever one you want to talk about.
Okay.
And let me just quickly do our commercials here. So,
Okay.
Jody Susan of Susan Essentials was misdiagnosed and nearly died in 2013. Instead, she chose to reclaim her health using plant and energy-based healing. After losing 92 pounds, she now offers a psychologist and doctor-recommended functional food program focusing on two things: toxic-free living and a connection to our brain health. Susan Essentials re-engineered what health looks like with a self-paced functional food program, now available to you with plans starting at just $99.
The Female Solution Global Radio TV Show invites you to an invigorating conversation with our team of hosts Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Time. Start your week with Monday Morning Mindfulness with Zelda Speaks. Tuesdays, Self Care with Jody Susan. Wednesdays, Repairing Broken Families with Naima Latif and co-host Kareem Hamid. Thursdays, Soulful Solutions with Dr. Debbie Green. And Fridays, Health and Wellbeing with Beata. Saturdays, tune in 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Time. First Saturday, Success Strategies with Jana. Second Saturday, Wendy Williams Esquire on relationships. Third Saturday, Move Around with Deborah. And fourth Saturday, Wisdom with Mama D. Join us Sundays, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Central Time for Soul Purpose Healing with Beata. Call in and comment 515-605-9325. Press 1 to speak to the host and be a part of the solution.
Welcome to QuickClick, where customers can buy, share, and earn. Meet Sam. Sam owns an e-commerce business that sells athletic shoes and running gear. Sam wants to increase her sales without increasing marketing spend, so she decides to list her products on QuickClick. On QuickClick, her loyal customers can get paid for sharing her products with their friends. Sam uploads her products to the marketplace, just like she would on Amazon or Shopify. Meet Laura. Laura is in the market for a new pair of shoes and comes across Sam's brand on the QuickClick marketplace. Laura is able to purchase the shoes and check out like she would on any other e-commerce site. After purchasing, Laura receives a unique Quick link that she can share with friends to begin earning Quick Cash. Her friend Jessica opens Laura's Quick link on her phone and purchases the pair of shoes. Because Jessica purchases using Laura's Quick link, Laura receives Quick Cash in her account. After purchasing, Jessica can now share her own Quick link and begin earning Quick Cash as well. But QuickClick is more than just your typical referral or affiliate platform. QuickClick rewards customers for sales they directly and indirectly influence. So, for every sale Jessica's new Quick link makes, Laura will earn additional Quick Cash as well, making the potential for earning exponential. Laura and Jessica can transfer their Quick Cash balance to their bank account at any time, or can even use Quick Cash to make additional purchases in the app. Meanwhile, Sam can just watch as the sales roll in. Best of all, she doesn't have to worry about costs, since she is only spending marketing dollars when actual purchases are made. Start buying, sharing, and earning today at QuickClick.com.
All right, we are back. And for those people who want to connect with Wanda, this is how you do it. Wanda at WDPEA. That looks like that's spelled incorrectly.
That is spelled incorrectly. It's Pearson. I'm going to put it in here again. So it's Wanda Pearson. It should be Pearson.
Yeah.
Wanda at WDPearson.com.
Yeah, because the site can't be reached.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I told you it was early in the morning when I was typing this, Jody. So
it's okay.
Give me.
It's not. This is an easy fix.
Yeah. So I just put it in there. And I'm glad you said that. Don't look right. It don't. After I looked, that's that's.
All good. So
that's what happened with your eyes. But we were talking about as far as going back to my books that I wrote and how I got into doing what I'm doing, right?
Yes, please.
So when I was into my when COVID happened, doing my webinars with the other entrepreneurs collaboration. Mm-hmm. So one of the young ladies, which is one of my clients, called me and said God told her to call me. And I said, well, what did he say? And she wanted me to be part of this collaboration project with a book. And when she told me, and it's actually Audacity to Shine. And I loved it because it's all about, it's hard to put up this here. Yeah, Audacity to Shine. It's actually on my website, my book's there.
I'm going to your website. I'm trying to get there now. So let me just do this. Stop that screen share, make that larger. Now show your book again.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. It's gonna have to go in front of your face for a second.
Yeah. So
there you go.
There it is.
Because it takes courage to step out of your current reality, right? Yep. And to shine. Because we're taught not to shine, are we not?
Absolutely, and that's why it's about life, faith, and business. So we actually are taught not like what I went through. So I love it how she put that title there and she changed the cover to reflect Audacity to Shine, because we all have the Audacity to Shine. That's what actually got me to doing what I'm doing to my book that I'm writing on my own. But it's about the struggles that we go through in your life, and that if you're ready to be inspired, we were talking about this as far as, and motivated and empowered to live triumphantly after allowing tragedy, because tragedy happened to us and we got out of it, right?
Right.
Absolutely. And past hurts, victim mentality, or even life failures to hold you back. So that's why I said we all have the audacity to shine. And that book actually was 10 of Us Women that did this book. This is when people didn't know, because they always saw Wanda smiling, everything's fine. But when they read my chapter, they said, "Oh wow, I didn't know you went through that, Wanda." I said, "Yeah, because what happened, Jody, was that I buried a lot of things deep inside me, and I guess that was God's way of saying, um, don't think about it, because I wouldn't be who I am today if I allowed that to keep me down. But I
Right.
knew that He had, like I said, He had plans for me,
Yes,
right?
it is.
And I love my when I retired, actually, Jeremiah 29:11. God has plans for you to prosper, not to harm you, but to give you hope in the future. That's really what I went off of. So when I told my story in this book, um, about how I suffered. I mean, my mother, she was in her last year of high school, first time ever having sex, and she got pregnant with me, right? So that made me fearful that, oh, I'm never having sex. I'm never. So thank you. Yeah, those are my two books there. So it's funny um um how I actually came out of that and not let that fear stay with me. But my daughters, when they read my chapter, because I talked to them about, but they never really knew about what happened to me because I buried it so deep inside. They said, "Mommy, you need to go to counseling." What I need to go to counseling for? I never thought I needed to go to a counselor, right? A therapist, right?
Mhm.
So when I went to the therapist, it actually brought out stuff in me that made me write even more of stuff that I actually didn't, I buried deep inside because I just didn't think about it. And my stepmother, when she actually helped me to be strong when I am, she said, "Wanda, you always forget stuff." Well, I don't remember. What the therapy and writing this book helped me to bring out more than I anticipated to do, to remember. So that second book, The Impact of One Voice, and thank you for putting that up. Impact of One
Mhm.
Voice, this is what Aubrey Robinson, I actually
Mhm.
have my own cover, even though it's a collaboration, but it's about we all have the unique experience and gift to tell our story. A lot of us in this book, this is international. This is actually #1 bestseller on Amazon. But I
Nice.
actually have my own book, so please make sure you buy them from me because that's how I'm investing to do my book, right? Um, so I love the title of The Impact of One Voice. Your voice, story, and message matters because what you tell about your story, it probably penetrates to other people that actually are going through the same thing. So helping people to tell their story, the message that we actually have to share, is actually something that a lot of us have. And I tell people, they tell me, "Wanda, I want to write a book." Well, write it. Tell your story because I'm gonna tell you that's another thing I said. Never say never. I would never write a book. Who wants to hear my story? Who wants? I mean, so many books out here. I got so many books. But when you're out here networking a lot and people think you're happy go lucky, but when they read your story, they have a different view of you to say that you've been through this and even mentoring with these girls that I mentor to let them know that they're not the only ones going through this, but we've been through it. So it really makes a big difference as far as that. So when I wrote this chapter, I'm writing it, Jody, and I'm like, what can I name this? What title should I name this? And that's what Never Say Never, because God has a plan for you. And it's funny because because of the Arby Roberts, she said, "Well, Wanda, what is your time?" And I instantly I came up with it, because as I'm saying, I will never do it. I said, "Oh God," I said, "Okay, but that's my title. Never say never, because God has a plan for you. You know,
Yeah.
He has
You
a
know,
plan for all of us, right?"
you just inspired me. There's some sort of reverberation going on. I don't know. Is there a window open that's not supposed to be?
For me,
Uh, Here, that's why. Let me just do that. Our executive producer opened up the mic and it always reverberates. So
oh,
Naeem, please do not open your mic again. Thank you very much. Uh, she has a habit of opening up the mic. It blows our audio every single time, and hopefully one day
okay.
she'll learn her lesson and not do that.
Well, I want to make sure it wasn't me. So,
No, it was not you. It was not you, but hopefully, Naima, please do not open that mic.
yeah. So my third book, which is actually my book, and I actually just put a cover on it. It's actually God's Grace Through the Fire, from Struggle
Let
to
me
Triumph.
let me change the screen out so that
Okay.
go ahead and do that again. and
Yeah.
actually do
So
that.
this is actually a picture. This is the one that I'm writing now. God's grace through the fire, from
Mhm.
struggle to triumph. And this actually derived from, and I just made I put it on top of a book, but I'm in the middle of writing it now. I've been viciously trying to get this out
You
by,
need the cover, but you don't have it's not written inside yet?
no, it's not written aside. I actually just took a picture of it and put it on my book because I wanted to show,
And visualize it.
yeah. And, because visualizing makes a big difference. So I'm visualizing. So when I put that on there, that's when I'm starting to write. But what I'm doing in that book is actually putting a journal in there too. As
Mhm.
I'm writing my chapters, I'm putting a journal, but I also quote a lot of Bible verses in there that God gave me to edify what I'm saying. Um, and
Right, because like people look, can we back up for a minute? Because you spoke earlier that God spoke to you.
Mhm,
Does God
mhm.
speak to you often?
Yeah, I didn't know he'd be speaking to me, but yeah.
Well, and here's why I'm asking. I'm not like trying to put you on the spot, so forgive me if it appears that way. It's not my intention at all. I was speaking to this man I used to work with. He is so amazing, and I'd like to have him on the podcast. And we're dialoguing about it.
Mhm,
And I explained to him how God speaks to me, and that I hear God. I talk to God.
mhm,
He goes, "Well, that's quite amazing." He goes, "I had never met anyone who's talked to God."
mhm,
And
mhm.
I'm thinking, "Well, you need to walk in my circles."
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't talk to God. It's a
yeah.
dialogue, and it's our divine right. And I want to just pause on that for a moment
Mhm.
because it is our divine right. And you're sitting here. You're not a spiritual teacher, are you?
No, no, but people come to me and ask me, Wanda, can you pray for me? And I pray for them, and I ask God and I put them in my prayer
It's not like your
healings.
MO,
Yeah.
right?
No, it's not. It's just that they see that I'm spiritual, and God speaks
Connected.
to you. Not, it may not be direct, but indirectly through other people. You know that he's saying things, and like I said, I've never been like that. God, when I was growing up, I didn't know nothing about God, but I know, But as you get older, you start becoming more spiritual. And my daughter is like my younger daughter. She actually is got saved. And I tell you, I almost cried. I mean, when she was in college,
What do you
and I
mean
was
you got
so
saved?
proud
I
of
mean,
her. Then
by Jesus.
yeah, yeah, she really got, and it's amazing because um my older daughter, who I had both of them in church. They were in the usher, the choir, dance, all of that, and because I wanted them to do what I didn't do. You know what I mean? So I never held them back. And I love it because now both of them have actually gotten into, and my younger daughter, she actually married a spiritual man. So both of them are involved with church. My daughter, she works at the church. So
Yeah.
it's just amazing. You don't know how your children are going to turn out. And I'm just so proud of both of them as far as, finishing college and doing what they have to. Both of them are married. I have children. I have 6 grandchildren, by the way, 4 girls and 2 boys. So
I saw that on Facebook. What is going on with, I sense somebody opened up another window again. Can you make sure that you don't have anything open? I'm checking on my side because it's just getting kind of funky.
no, I'm in my office. So I don't
Yes,
have anything over.
there's no other computer window open.
No,
Okay.
no. I have see, I don't hear it on my side. I don't hear anything on my side. But
So, well, hopefully it'll tame itself down. So I want to go back though to the fact that you hear God,
mhm,
and yet you don't, and like I'm a medical intuitive, I'm an energy healer, and I hear
mhm,
God like all day, and my
mhm,
spirit guides. And I want people to know that you don't have to be an energy healer to hear God. You can be a legal professional. You can be an
yeah,
empowerment coach. You can be, the best network. You just be you. You don't
mhm,
have to have a special title to hear
mhm. Absolutely, absolutely, and it's so true. So we said that little tiny voice, and I said, listen to that little tiny voice that be, um, coming through, but not only that, but through other people that actually,
God. Right.
tell you stuff, or the things that you're like writing these books. I
Well,
said,
my brother, I have an older brother. This is still funky audio, but I have an older brother, David, and he's an attorney out in Texas, and he's been my mentor and my, guide since I was a child.
mm-hmm,
And he has been my messenger of God.
mm-hmm.
Now, he doesn't believe what I do, like but he's my messenger. So I'm like, okay, I'm,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm not going to
exactly.
if you don't get what I do. I love you. He loves me. I like him. He
Yeah,
likes me. We just don't talk about the other stuff that I
yeah,
do. And
yeah.
and by the way, spoiler alert, you're my
Mhm.
messenger.
It's amazing because I have two brothers that are ministers, right? And it's funny, they're ministers, but I be ministering to them. I'm
Right?
like, you know, so I'm the older sister. So I'm actually the only one with my mom and dad, by the way. So
Nice.
and my brother, I remember he came to me, the younger one. He said, "Wanda, God called me to be to be a minister." I said, "Really?" And he was not one that I was like, "Are you kidding me? Did God really say that?" Because he was not. This boy would get into a lot of different things, but he became a minister, which is great. And then my the brother right underneath me, he actually is a minister. So
Okay.
and I never went to ministry school. I just
I'm
did
actually
it.
an ordained minister.
Yeah,
Reverend.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Chris
But
says makes a really good point here. And I was going to make it so, Chris, thank you for bringing it up.
yeah.
Excuse me. So she says, we think we hear God and do not I think we hear God and do not realize it because we've been told we
Mhm.
can't. I believe everyone hears God in one way or another. Do we choose to listen and acknowledge is another matter. It's so
Absolutely.
wise.
Yes.
I believe that the man that I'm thinking about absolutely hears God.
Mhm.
And he doesn't recognize it as such. He hasn't made that discernment yet. And he's
Yep.
not.
Yep.
He's really wise and he has risen up. He has done amazing things.
Mhm.
He doesn't and he's a Christ follower, but he's
Mhm.
not connecting the dots that those pings or ideas, they're mostly not his.
Mhm. Mhm. Absolutely. And it's so true. And I love what Chris was saying. Yeah, it's we have our messengers, right? That actually come to you and like, okay, Lord. I'm going to give you an example. So years ago when I was living in New Jersey, I had a hysterectomy, right? And then I was sitting there because I'm not used to being sitting down, not working. I got to stay in this one room. I can't go down the stairs. I can't do it. So I was depressed. So as I'm sitting there, all of a sudden, and I was listening to Joe Osteen came on. He said, "Stop sitting there and look and being depressed." And I looked around. I said, "Oh, okay, okay, God."
Because he's
You just never know who your message is going to be. Her and him and Joe. Um, God, what's my other one? I love Joyce Myers.
Okay.
So I love the messages that they have, and that's actually what got me more into that spiritual because I said, "Okay, Lord, I hear you. Okay, because you just never know." And then I was depressed because I was like, well, I was like, he don't care enough about. But then my brother, I had people that I didn't even know that was calling and checking on me. So it may not be the person that you intended to be, that you thought would be the one that would help you, but it's like other people that he brings into your life that that you um that give you that spirit that the connection that you have with God. So like I said, it just it's been a journey, and I'm glad that I'm on that journey with God because I said everything that I'm doing, and that's why I love the title "Never Say Never" because God has a plan for you. And with my new book that's coming out, it actually gives me more insight of telling more about my story. But I want people to realize that, after each chapter, I'm putting a journal in it because I want you to write about if my chapter penetrated to you, then what makes you get out of that funk or whatever that you're in? How can you actually grow from what I'm telling you, because it's really about that helping that and all about self-care, right? And your self-esteem and confidence to getting that back. So that's really what I want to do with this one here because and I'm gonna tell you another thing, Jody.
I got another thing for you. Go for it. Well, because I want to, but I want you to do. I just want to. Sorry, I'm so excited by everything. Keep going. I'm taking notes. Go ahead.
No, forgiveness. Do you know? And I have a whole chapter on forgive because I said, because as I'm growing and as I start thinking about things that happened to me in the past, and I moved to Georgia, like God, after as far as my stepfather with the abuse that I suffered, and I realized a lot of abuse is not just abuse, sexual abuse, or elder abuse, you know, um, mental, emotional abuse. But I had to realize that I had not forgiven my stepfather, and I thought I did. I mean, he died when I was a sophomore in college. Now that was like, oh, I mean, I don't want to say how many years ago that was, but but he died as I was in like a Bible study class that I went to. I never went to Bible study class, but one of my friends knowing what I was going through because I just lost my mother, um, and going there. So I went there, and the class was total forgiveness. And I'm like, oh my God. So when the guy said, okay, I want you to hit the person over the head imaginary that you need to forgive. Well, the guy just put my stepfather right in front of me. I was like, oh my God. I thought I forgot. I thought I forgave this man. So when I did the audacity,
You tee me up. Keep talking because I wait till I'm like biting at the bit. Mike, wait.
Yeah, so with this Audacity to Shine book, I had she teamed us up with a best known author, and I had one of the best known authors, and she was going through stuff too, that she had to read my chapter, and I had to read her chapter. Well, she read, and I said, "Well, this is the first time I've ever written a book. I've never done this before, And she read it. I said, "Do I need to change?" She said, "No, no, no, not at all." She said, "Wanda, what I really liked about that is that you talk about forgiveness. So I want to do a class on forgiveness, as far as the different things that we hide inside because you got to forgive in order God forgave us, right? So that's how you get your blessings. And that's why I talk about that as far as it's hard because people continue to do the same thing to you. How do you forgive those people who do the same thing to you over and over again, right?
Okay, so I wanted to touch on this. Okay. So I want to talk about the how. How do you forgive? Number one, start with forgiving yourself.
Yes.
I want to ask you then when you forgave your dad, did you forgive yourself for what you did to instigate whatever happened?
Yeah, I did. And I'm learning that more and more because I realized oh wow. And you're right. You have to forgive yourself first.
Yes.
When you
This
forgive yourself first.
is a healing circle. So
Okay.
this man who's going to be on our show, and I have permission to discuss this. This is Dr. Sound, Michael Murphy Burke. He lives in Atlanta.
Okay.
And we're at the church and we're doing a healing on him. This is my husband, Andrew. This is me. And this is my friend, Gina Martell. We have many healers in the back. This is Sonia. Oh, you got to hear her voice. Anyway, so we're all doing this healing, right? When we started the healing, God drove me to start with forgiveness. Because if we are having negative self-talk and a negative internal dialogue about how bad we are, and we are not forgiving ourselves, we will not heal.
Yep.
And if you can't heal that, which you can, but if you choose not to heal and forgive yourself and forgive others, that mindset will cause disease.
Yep.
That is the root cause of disease.
Yep. Exactly. And I tell people that, if you continue to fester that inside of you're bringing out cancer, any kind of thing that's within your body, inside of you,
Well, I encourage everybody to go to this YouTube, it's our YouTube channel, Susan Essentials. Okay. So there's a link. And why am I encouraging you to do this? Well, because anybody who watches it receives healing. The healing's in there. there were about 1,000 healers not in the room, but tuned in, or or came in advance and brought the healing to this man, who, as you can see, is in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
And you can't see, but you down here in the corner, right to the left of my leg, there's an oxygen tent, and he can't walk, right? So he is now walking, no oxygen, and he was doing it inside of 30 days.
Wow, that's amazing.
Right. This is the power of prayer
Mm-hmm.
and our Savior.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because we were here, all of us, but we were conduits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want y'all to let that sink in. I want y'all to have access to this healing, so that, and you should watch it. It looks like it's an hour and 8 minutes, and give yourself the gift of healing today.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, I would be grateful if you all subscribe to my channel.
Yes. No, we do definitely. I had Dennis subscribe to your channel too, so he's listening then too. So.
Thank you. Hi, Dennis. Andrew has something. He says the healing session was so powerful. There were dozens of healers in the audience, yes, and hundreds of others joined online. He said, "Yeah, Michael's now off oxygen, in the wheelchair, and has resumed his life." So actually, there were hundreds that joined online, but we had thousands that joined energetically.
That's
They didn't even have
amazing.
to be, yeah. So because one friend of ours, Philip, brought in like 300 shamans just alone, that were doing healing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing because like I said, people, and my family is I have 3 sets. I have my mother's family, my father's family, my step parents, my stepmother. And they're so secretive about stuff, like they're suffering through cancer or whatever. Then they die. We don't even know because they're secretive. But I say, prayer in multitude works. Because you got people you don't have to be there, but just pray. I say, I want people to know if I'm sick, then let them know I'm sick so I can get those prayers. So more prayers up in heaven, up to God, actually heals you. So that really makes a big difference though. But that's amazing. I definitely want to get that. What's the name of that the YouTube?
It's my channel, and you just go to Susan Essentials, and I put in the keyword for healing. But I have the link in here. What I can do is, you just click on the link in the thread. I should have put it in here in our private chat. And I forgot to go to commercial. Let me just do a quick commercial. We'll just do 2 short ones, and then I think my girls might come in for the show. Last few minutes to say hello.
Okay.
Let me just. Susan Essentials is re-engineering what health looks like by leading you to the best wellness initiatives in the world. Start your coaching plan today and create a new paradigm of health. Click here to learn more. All right, and then Jody Susan of Susan Essentials is certified by the #1 functional medicine doctor on plant-based healing essential oils, which are revolutionizing the way we manage our well-being. Schedule today to take control of your health. All right, so those are 2 short ones. Let's get back to business.
Let me ask you something, Joe. So I see you're in Chicago. Are you in Chicago? Or you're in Georgia?
So that was an older commercial. So I moved here from Chicago.
Okay.
A year and 2 months ago.
Okay.
And that was about the time I met you, probably a few months in, right?
Yes, that was last year. Yep.
And I had moved here.
Okay. Well, listen, coming from Chicago, and especially when I found out when we had that cold spell here, I was not used to 14 degrees here, but it was like below 0. So, but I moved from Chicago many, many years ago, but we moved to New Jersey, which was still cold. So,
yeah, I don't really get the weather here. So I was actually, when I moved here, we're gonna give away our snow shovels and
Mhm.
our down jackets and
Don't give those away
nope,
because it has totally
I'm
changed.
sitting here with a blanket. Okay,
It,
let's
it has, I mean,
just let it out. Woo!
I have my fur coat. I mean, I have my fur coat. I was going to give that away. I was like, oh my first winter here was 2006, actually 2007, and they said, oh, they shut down everything. And I know we're getting off track here, but
It's really, you understand.
I looked outside and they said, oh, it's a blizzard. And me and my husband and daughter looked out there, but there's no snow out there. What the hell? And I've yet to see a snowplow in here, but was
They
it
don't
about
put
five?
snow plows in Georgia. They just wait for it to melt, right?
Yeah, well, because we actually live in Kennesaw, we actually live up on the hill. So you wasn't here back then. I think it was about 4 or 5 years ago, maybe
Yeah.
5 years ago. Yeah, no, it was.
No, I'm in Kennesaw too, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. So yeah, so the snow, people they did not know how to drive in the snow. I mean, it was
And
just
I'm
like
really good at driving in the snow, but I just think that our roads are also constructed differently.
very the infrastructure here is like totally. I mean, moving from New Jersey, New York, Chicago, the infrastructure, how they do things here is just totally, totally different. Let's put it that way. I'm putting
Yeah,
it in a
I
nice
do
way.
not want to be on one of those high highways in Georgia
Yes,
during winter snow because I'm thinking, ching, right off. Because
exactly, exactly. So I actually had a peach pass here, and when we going over it, it took me a long time to get used to that curve and going around. So I'm doing like 20 miles an hour because like you said, going over it. I don't really feel. So I'm sorry. So we got off on that. So what were we talking about?
well, it's a
We were
fun
talking about forgiveness, right?
forgiveness. So it's
Yeah.
all about forgiveness. And we actually have two callers, and I'm going to take 847-220, and then we'll take 773-450. So let me just bring and I know this one from 847. He's tall,
Hmm.
he's a redhead, and I share his last name.
That must be family, huh?
Uh, husband, Andrew, you're on the air. Lou,
Good morning.
good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you? What's your question this morning, or do you
Awesome.
want to share a thought?
Thank you. This has been a great couple of hours. I wanted to hear, especially from Wanda, because people have challenges and certainly Jody as well, when we're doing God's work, we want to make sure we're getting the right messages to be on track. What are some advice you give to people to kind of figure out, are they listening to the right messages? Are they listening to the right people? It could be spiritual or people themselves to kind of get themselves on the right track to fulfill their purpose. Can you share that with me?
Yeah, so I really I give them my side of my story, okay? To really go within what they're asking for, advice or whatever. And then I actually go into what I believe that God is telling me because he puts words through me that I'm like, okay, did I say that? So, I think that positive um aspect of what I think as far as that they should do. And also I tell them that, because right now, if they're going through stuff, it's usually the fear that actually they are going through. And I said, and I'm gonna tell you, I actually went through that when I first moved here when my mother died, as far as faith. Well, what is faith? I can't see faith. It's the same thing, right? So I had to ask God to help me to be able to reveal what that faith is. And I had one of my she was my ex-managers, and I love this because it says, "This too shall pass. This too shall pass." You may be going through stuff as far as bad times, because I mean I have some friends that are going through bad times, but God is making you stronger. and making you have a testimony to be able to share that testimony with other people. So I share my testimony of what I went through to help them get through that. And then I tell them, call me if you if you need me, whatever you need me to do. So I think it's the passion that I actually show them to say that I care, and how I can actually share what, like I said, God gives you words sometimes to say, okay, this, and I didn't, I said, wow, that, and then I asked them, okay, does that help? And they say, yeah, that helps. But, they got to continue to, to pray. And I mean, I've had some people who actually been going through some really rough times, but you got to pray. And like I said, that difference with faith and fear is, so it looks the same, right? But the faith is how you actually have to continue to ask God to give you that faith during those difficult times. Does that make sense?
Andrew? I don't know if he hears you.
I think
Does that make sense, Andrew?
It does. Thank you, Wanda. And one
Thank
of the signs that we have in our house is let your faith be stronger than your fear.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, that really, yep. Let your faith be stronger than your fear. Because it actually, like I said, it's what I tell people too, Andrew, is that fear is the opposite of faith, right? It's really the opposite. And I said, fear is the devil, faith is God.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Because if
yeah,
you're not playing with God, you're playing with the other side. And the other side is the devil. And the other side is fear. They use fear people use fear, organizations use fear to drive you or manipulate you.
mm-hmm. And manipulate. Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, thank you for that question, Andrew. Yeah, because like I said, I don't, sometimes I don't know if I'm getting through to people or helping people. Like with the mentoring that I do with some of the girls, when you tell your own experience, you get closer to what these girls, these are middle school girls, then they trust you. Because if they think, oh, well, she's better than me, how's she going to understand my problem? And I said, I understand your problem because I've been there. I've been there as far as this. So, but yeah, I just like to make sure, and when I feel like I've accomplished that to help people, it makes me feel good. And I say, okay, God, thank you for helping me. So I hope that makes sense, Andrew. But yeah, I love that. Let your faith be stronger than your fear. Yes, yes, Jody. Great.
Thank you. Last thing I want to just share before I hang up is when you said if people need, it's like you offer yourself out there. If someone needs, you need someone to talk to, you need someone to lean on me. And people all need someone to rely on. We all need someone to lean on. So find those people. Don't go it alone. Thank you so much for being on our show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. But yeah, you're right. But you know what? I have to tell you this. My brother told me this. He's a minister. He said, Wanda, when you give so much of yourself, it's sapping that strength out of you. You got to continue to pray to God to give you back that strength. Because when it saps the strength out of you, that's when the devil try to take over and give you that, that negative thoughts in your mind. So yeah, continue to pray for strength as you go into this, as you share, with other people. Does that make sense?
Oh, the call dropped. I'll answer from, I think it makes sense. So, and we have another caller, and I think that my girls are coming in a moment.
Okay.
773-450. My girls are my two parrots,
Okay. No, I know you're two. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring on our next caller. So welcome to Self Care. And who's calling, and what's your question or contribution? Hello? 773-450. You are live. The girls are coming.
And that's Chicago.
It's Chicago. Hello. Say hi to Tinkerbell.
Oh, beautiful.
Yes, my two magical creatures.
They are so beautiful.
Yes. And so when we do healing, they actually are part of the healing. She's shy. she stays for a second. So I'm actually going to close this mic up because whoever it is, apparently does not have something to share, or did and got distracted, something like that.
Okay.
But I also want to just so she's talking. So actually, probably does have something she wants to share. So both of them will give messages for the collective.
Okay.
And I just want to share how people get in touch with you
Yes.
before we end the show.
Thank you.
I do want to hear what they have to say. Let me just get your information up there first.
Okay.
So if I go to banners, here we go. So let's hear what do you have to say today? Yes, it is. Okay, so what she's saying is that fear is very destructive to our psyche. What else are you having to say? And she says, and we have to align we have to align ourselves with God. And when we stay centered with Christ and with God, right? Then we can stop second guessing ourselves. And we can stop and lose the fear. So if you're feeling fearful, she's saying, pause, make sure you're centered with God, and then decide if that fear really has any place in your life, in your field. And if and then just walk with God, talk with God, walk with God. Is there anything else you want? She says that's good.
She said it all, and that is so true, because you got to let fear drive your transformation to get you out of mental illness, because there's so much mental illness out here today, Jody, because of fear, and that's the transformation. But yeah, she said it all.
I'm going to do something I don't typically do, but I'm going to do it. Give me a minute here. I met a woman 2 weeks ago, okay? And she saw both me and my husband. And I want people to go see her because of what you just mentioned, okay? Mental illness. But she's a chiropractor. So why would you see a chiropractor for mental illness? Right? Isn't that just something?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll show you something, because this is really what she does is transformational. So there is a concept, it's called muscle testing, right? And muscle testing can be used in all different ways. You muscle test your food. You can muscle test, just about anything. So let me see what's showing up there. Okay, so it is showing up. She uses this concept or methodology called Neuralink, and it works with the brain. And everything that I focus on is brain health and toxicity. And so if you have depression, insomnia, viral infections, your serotonin levels, like I was having, I'm just going to be honest, I was having anger issues. And I knew that was off. Like I know. But doesn't know how to control it. And so I went and I saw her. My serotonin levels were too low. And so she does a reset of she can do a reset of your immune system. She can reset, and she's in Kennesaw, by the way.
Oh, wow.
She's in Kennesaw. He's one of 2,000 doctors in, I think, the country that are
Wow.
trained to do this.
Okay.
And so my serotonin levels are now exactly where they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
It was about, I think she was like 165 bucks
Okay.
to do this for me. So her name is Dr. Michelle Sabra. Okay. And she's, like she's got this. And the name of her company is Key to Health Chiropractic. Okay.
Okay.
So if you are having depression and you've tried your essential oils, you've changed your diet, even if you haven't changed your diet, you're still going to have to change your diet. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have a neurological issue, especially if you're having symptoms of early onset dementia, depression, anxiety, all those things, she and I actually, we share patients, right? They're her patients, my clients, just because we do things differently. He's a doctor. I'm not. I play one on TV, right? So, but Dr. Michelle Sabra, works with your brain, and she does it in an hour and a half or whatever. And she does this reset. I had an active virus in my system. Who knows how long that had been there? Right? Which was impacting how I processed information, which was also impacting my serotonin levels.
Wow. What? Put that website back up there again, Jody.
Yeah. It's Key to Health Chiropractic, Dr. Michelle Sabra.
Okay.
And then what I do, so what she does, she sends her clients to me because I work on past lives and erasing timelines and thought forms, and I get it out of the etheric field. She gets it out of the physical body and the brain. I take it out of the field so that it never, ever comes back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So
that's interesting.
Yeah. So we actually share patients.
And that's what you call collaboration, right?
Yeah. And going back to what you were saying earlier in the show, collaborating with people, that's the power. Being in community. My logo here on the top of the screen, right, is 3 ginkgo leaves. It used to be 1 ginkgo leaf. So we brought 3 about community. And then if you take a close look, which is hard to do here, that 1 leaf in the middle is peering out the top of the circle. It's about getting out of your current constraints.
Okay. I can't see the leaves though.
Oh, they're right. So
90 seconds.
Well, let me just do this, I guess. Hold on. Let me just. So, maybe you can see it's basically. Let's see if we can do this.
Well, I think it's on your logo. I've seen
it. It is the logo.
Yes.
The logo. Oh, here it is. So, if you see the logo here, right? Yes. So it's peering out the top. It's about getting out of the constraints of the past.
60 seconds.
Because we have been trained to think that we have constraints, that we are stuck doing what we're doing, but really you're not stuck what you're doing. You can manifest whatever you want. And the only thing that stops you from being what you want really is only you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's great.
So
it's great.
What do we want to leave people with? Let me get your information up again. So I encourage you, so I'm going to close this. I encourage you to reach out to Wanda. I encourage you to
10 seconds.
Buy her books. So let me go back there.
Okay.
So you can join Wanda's book club, Audacity
Yes.
to Shine, The Impact of One Voice, God's Grace Through the Fire, right?
Uh-huh.
And then call her 678-761-5781. So
Thank you.
anything you want to leave people with for today?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on here. But really, we all have the audacity to shine. Just think about that. We have the audacity to shine to get through that fear, to be able to have that faith to proceed to your triumph.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah,
thank
it's
you.
a matter, right?
Yes, yes.
She has something else she wants to say. She has bit me. What do you want to say? She says, I love you, Wanda.
I love you too. So
Wanda.
cute. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. I want to thank all of our listeners. We had,
Yes.
it doesn't show up here, but we had I think 21 attendees just on LinkedIn alone. And then
Awesome.
Blog Talk, Podbean, and Facebook and YouTube. So, and then if you want to catch the replay, go to any one of the platforms plus anywhere that you watch your podcast. Okay, thank you. And you can watch Wanda on this show, and you can get a glimpse of her knowledge, but more importantly, give her a call. Right?
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you so much, babe. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great show.
Thank you. Oh, and you made it happen. Let me tell you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right.
All right.
Take care. Bye.